I'm just heading out for a paddle with my wife, and I thought this would be an awesome time to talk about sandals. Not necessarily sandals in general, as much as water shoes. So, if you've gone on an outdoor adventure or two, you know how easy it is for a pair of shoes to really kill the vibes. And I mean by blisters or rolling an ankle or slipping on rocks. There's just a lot of ways that shoes can really make or break a trip. And so today we're gonna get into some of my favorite water shoes that I've tried over the years and compare them. So before we jump into the review, I just want to give you a little bit of info about my background. So I spent 5 years as an outdoor outfitter, and for the last 15 years, I've been a specialist in foot and ankle and sports medicine procedures. And what that means is that I spend most of my day treating some of the ailments that can occur if you don't wear proper footwear. I think we can agree this gives me a unique perspective on the water sports footwear we're going to be reviewing today. All right, we're going to get this out of here, and let's start with number 6 on our list of top premium outdoor water shoes. Number 6 on our list is the Astral Loyak. This is a great shoe. It's more in line with a boat shoe, but it is water specific in that it has both front and back drains, a quick drying upper, and a bottom or outsole designed to enhance grip. I've worn this shoe over the last year, found it very comfortable, especially in dry environments. This is something that you can wear around town, as well as get on the water and wear it as a kayak shoe or river shoe. The support on this is average, but where they lack in support, it makes up for in feel of the ground. It's got a very minimalist design, very flexible and connected. Haven't had any sign of premature wear and tear. And the grip of this shoe is where it really shines. On the bottom, it has G15 rubber, which is a very sticky rubber, and also has what's called laser siping. And these laser siping lines really enhance grip on wet surfaces. Each of those little edges grabs on the ground like a gecko's foot. Where this falls short is in its comfort when wet. Unfortunately, interiorly, there are some stitching issues that come down from here, and they provide a point of high wear on the foot, especially once the shoe has gotten wet. I've had blisters every time I've worn these shoes once the shoe is wet, and it does take a long time to dry relative to the other shoes we're going to be talking about because of its full upper, and so that's why this has earned its place at number 6, despite it being otherwise a phenomenal performer. I do still really like this shoe and tend to wear it with a pair of socks or low-cut socks when I'm in the water, and that's helped drastically remove the issues of blisters. So moving on to number 5 on our list is the Vibram 5 Fingers. Now if you want to jump around in the video, along the bottom timeline I've added timestamps and chapters for the various shoes, so if you decide that you want to skip to the end, feel free to, completely understand. So we've actually got 2 pairs of Vibram 5 Fingers here. I've been wearing these shoes for the better part of 20 years, really since they came out in the mid-2000s. They are a absolutely minimalist shoe, and before we get into this, I have to say that if you think that the toe sock design is going to bug you, I really encourage you to try these at the store, wear them for about 10 minutes, and make that decision there. The comfort of these shoes is phenomenal. They generally come with a very comfortable interior. Blisters are normally not an issue, and they dry relatively quickly. Now, the shoes that we have here are not the water-specific model. They're very similar to them, but the V-Aqua is the current model. It goes for about $110, and it features a couple specific things that these don't have, including what's called a mega grip bottom. It also has drains through the bottom, silicone, like these dots here along the inside to increase the stickiness of the shoe to your foot so there's not a lot of rubbing, and they're also vegan. Now, the support of these shoes is obviously near non-existent. Like the Astral, this shoe is designed to give you good feel of the ground. So it's not going to offer a lot of additional protection. It does compared to Barefoot. It doesn't compare to a pair of work boots, so it's all relative. If you're walking around barefoot, this is obviously going to be a little bit more protective of your toes. It's going to provide puncture resistance, which is its main goal, while still giving you good feel of the ground. The durability of these speaks for itself. This pair right here is over 10 years old. This is close to being 10 years old as well. I don't wear these every day. This one I tend to wear for yoga. This one I'll wear outdoors. They do hold up very well. I haven't ever had any issues of these delaminating or anything of the sort. I think that they're going to last well within the expected lifetime. And then lastly, grip. The water version of this has a very grippy water-specific sole, but as you can see, the soles are something that this company, Vibram, is known for. Vibram, this company provides outsoles for many of the top boot brands and shoe brands in the country. So this is what their bread and butter is creating really good outsoles. So that grip and overall durability there is nothing you need to worry about. They're an industry leader. Now, where these shoes specifically find a place in my life is for the ability to strengthen your feet. What often happens is while you're wearing a pair of regular shoes, your foot is protected and the muscles that are generally designed to flex and to work with balance, they're prevented from doing such by the stiff outsole. So when you have a pair of shoes like this, if you wear these as an adjunct to other pairs of shoes, they really benefit you in strengthening the small micro muscles in the toes and in the foot to help balance your feet and prevent those muscles from atrophying. That said, the other end of the spectrum is that if you wear these too long, or if you're wearing these under heavy load conditions or during running, you can actually cause microfracturing of your feet. So they're not very protective in that regard, but they do act well as an adjunct to your other footwear. Moving on to number 4 in the lineup is the Chaco Chillos. This pair of shoes is going to remind you a lot of a pair of Crocs. This shoe is generally designed for relaxed comfort. It does a fantastic job on the water. It's quick dry. It has good structure in that it will hold your foot in there well. It has a little bit of a secondary material in the insole to provide slightly better support and comfort than just the standard all one-piece EVA that you might see a Croc made out of. The protection for the toe box is very good. You can see that this is really going to prevent you from having any toe stubs, anything like that. The support overall for ankle stability is aided by the wide foot box, but isn't necessarily designed to be an active wear shoe. So you're not going to gain extra ankle stability or arch stability from this shoe like you would maybe some of our top 3. On the bottom of the shoe, you can see that the grip has begun to wear out. I've had this shoe for 3 or 4 years now. It's gone through its paces. This isn't any specifically nice type of rubber. It's just a standard EVA, so it's not going to be as grippy as some of the other shoes as well. With my experience in this shoe, the one thing I'll say is that when I wear it in a clog form with this down, what I have found is that this area tends to rub on my feet. It's not quite as comfortable as having, the strap of a Croc down. So I have to generally wear these with this behind my foot, holding my foot in there to prevent any type of rubbing. But with that done, as long as I do keep these up and my foot in there with this back, I have found that there's really no blisters that are caused by this. Even when the shoe's wet, it dries very quickly because of the material. I think that that's where this shoe shines, is that it's not going to cause any blisters as long as you wear it appropriately, as long as you keep these up and out of the way. Now, if you found these reviews helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. I really appreciate the support. This is what helps my channel grow. And just like that, we're already at number 3. This shoe is an absolutely legendary shoe that's been out for a long, long time. 30 plus years. I think 1989 was the year that this came out. And you can still get them for about $105, and the shoe is relatively unchanged from its initial design. What makes this shoe so special, mostly in the ergonomics of the footbed. You can see that this footbed is very contoured, it has good arch support, and what they call this is the love seat design. Now, I've even tested these shoes in a room where we had a marking at our first step and our 5th step and the distance between those. And then we went ahead and put on regular shoes. And every time we actually gained distance when wearing these versus wearing a regular pair of shoes. I thought that was very interesting. And it goes to show that in increased ergonomics, you get increased efficiency. This shoe replaces oftentimes for thru hikers that are hiking thousands of miles with a heavy pack, 20 miles a day. This replaces their boots because of the comfort of the shoe, especially long term when you're putting a lot of miles on your feet. Now, something else that makes these shoes special is the overall durability. You can see that we've got a Vibram outsole on this attached to kind of a rubberized, it's a little bit heavier than EVA foam midsole. And what that allows you to do is, one, it lasts a very long time as is. This pair is well over 15 years old. But two, if you ever did wear out the bottom, you can actually send this back to Chaco and they'll peel the bottom off and they'll put a new one on there, which is nice for those that like to recycle and reuse. This is the only shoe in the category that has a podiatry certification. And again, that goes back to those ergonomics. So comfort, support, and protection are going to be fantastic. Another attribute to the protection of the foot, even though it's a sandal, and why this is very good for stabilizing your ankle, is because of the torsional stability here. Torsional stability means the flex in this direction. Things that flex a lot are less supportive of your ankle. Things that are more stiff are more supportive. And you can see this is a much stiffer shoe than some of the other brands that we've tried so far. So we've gone over the support, the protection, the durability. In this particular model, you can see that it's a Vibram outsole. Vibram, as we talked about before, their bread and butter, what they used to do solely was make the rubber for the bottoms of boots for the best brands in the world. So they got it knocked down to perfection. And then in the new models, they've actually upgraded that to what's called Chaco Grip, which is Chaco's proprietary version of this. It's just as grippy and it's just as good. So that's why this has earned its spot in the top 3. Now I think our next shoe, coming in at number 2, might surprise you. And this is going to be, guess it, the Croc. Now most of you are probably thinking there's no way that a shoe that's made out of an injection can compete with the shoes that are as technical and supportive as the other ones. But there are a couple features of this that bring it in to the top 2. Let's go over those now. So Crocs are best known for their casual comfort, not necessarily for their performance ability. These come in generally at about $50 a pair, and you can get them as low as $25 if you find them at some of the discount places like Ross or TJ Maxx. Comfort in these shoes is oftentimes the focus, but not necessarily support. If you're looking for a shoe that's going to support you for plantar fasciitis or prevent you from rolling your ankles if you've got weak ankle ligaments, this might not be the best shoe for you. This also might not be the best shoe for you if you're planning on wearing it on a 1,300-mile thru hike through the Appalachian Trail. Where this does offer protection is in the footbed being nice and thick and preventing punctures, as well as the toe bumper. As you can imagine, durability in a shoe like this is average. And while I do have pairs of Crocs that I've worn for many, many years, it only takes several months before I start to see the compaction of the EVA foam in the footbed and the overall wear of the tread. So if comfort's great, but support, protection, and durability are just average, how did this end up in the top 3, you might ask yourself? What that comes down to is in its ability to function in the water. 2 things really go well with this shoe. One is that when you wear it in the water, it dries quickly and it doesn't cause blisters. Of all the shoes that we've got today, this shoe is my favorite one to wear in and out of the water. I can get in the water 1 minute, 5 minutes later it's dry. Any of the other shoes that we talk about today, they're going to remain wet for some time, and that wetness can lead to blisters. Secondarily, this is an extraordinary lightweight and cheap shoe that you can find almost anywhere. So if you're looking for a secondary shoe to a backpacking trip, something that you can wear around camp when you take your boots off, what better than to have something that weighs almost nothing, is pretty much unable to be harmed by crushing it or anything like that, and makes for an excellent comfort slipper. Those 2 reasons are what landed the Crocs in the top 2 water shoes on the market. Now that we've gotten this guy out of the way, let's get on to our number 1. This is what I deem the number 1 shoe on the market in water sports across all sectors, whether that's paddling, whether that's hiking and camping, whether that's hanging out in the river, boating. This shoe is a do-it-all. It can even be worn around town. So if you haven't guessed it yet, that is the Keen. So what we have here, the reigning champ, the number 1 water shoe over the last 20-something years. The shoe came out in 2003. It goes for about $125. This is the Keen H2 sandal. As you can see, this is a hybrid between a sandal and a shoe. It's something you could wear with a pair of dark socks and nobody would know that you're wearing a sandal. It's also something you can wear barefoot and go on the most extreme of adventure. This is a phenomenal, phenomenal shoe, and we're going to go over the reasons now. So if you haven't noticed so far, all the shoes that we're reviewing today, I've worn the heck out of. This guy has been around the block. I've got goo on it and all sorts of stuff. Just about every one of these shoes that I've reviewed today, I've worn for well over a year. This pair being no exception. We're going to put this one aside for now, and this is the reason this shoe has garnered the #1 spot. First off is comfort. Because of this neoprene lined interior, this shoe does very well in both wet and dry conditions barefoot. You don't get blisters like you would in some of the other models that I've explored because of that neoprene. It really provides a nice plush material against the foot, and it's also rather quick drying, hence the waterproof label, despite it obviously not being waterproof and keeping your feet dry. The second thing that makes this shoe a really good one is its outsole and support. This is a pretty stable shoe. It doesn't have a lot of torsional stability. It's got a wide toe box. And because of that, this is going to really be supportive and protective of your ankles. It does have a decent amount of arch support, although not as good as the Chaco. And then lastly, it's got excellent grip to it. So you can see, just like the Astral, this has what's called laser siping. And that laser siping, each of those little edges sticks to the ground, and it really works well on slick, mossy materials, mossy rocks. The durability of these shoes, while this pair has lasted me a long, long time, there have been issues in the past, and that's why I brought a pair of my wife's shoes. So this pair has come to the end of its life. It has been worn to death. We're talking at least 4 or 5 years, but what will often happen is something like this. And so Keen, if they're going to fail, it's going to be in the delamination of the 2 layers. And we've glued this one back into place. I think actually she's waiting for me to take this pair, put some shoe glue on there, slip that back in, and then it'll be good to go for another 5 years. We've had this happen on several pairs before, and she still wears those as her backup pairs around the house and whatnot, even after we've had to go and modify them and glue them back together. And again, that's to be expected. This shoe just wore out because of use. With that in mind, that is how the Keen H2 has become the reigning king of outdoor water shoes, and why I would recommend a pair of these in everybody's closet.